All right, y'all. We are live on this beautiful, is it Tuesday? This beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Blessings to everybody in the name of Jesus, Yeshua, the Messiah. Even if you are not religious, well, I still pray you and your family are super blessed, and Bitcoin is about to move, baby. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. God bless you all. Thank you so much for being here right now. I want to give a big shout out to XRP321. He says there's 666 everywhere in these lizards. He says a whole bunch of stuff in the chat. Well, shout out to the lizard people. Shout out to the 666 symbolism everywhere. Shout out to Jamie. He says LFG Jason. Shout out to Barry the Rave. All right, shout out to my man, Political Cow, early in the chat. Shout out to J-Boy Bullish. What is going on, man? God bless you. Shout out to Stefan. He says Wave B has started to 43,700. Are we going to get a massive pump up to 43,700? Perhaps. We're going to be talking about it today. Shout out to Vince R7. Shout out to Cyrus Crypto. He says, hello, ladies. Any ladies in the chat, put a 1 in the chat if you're a lady. About 2% of my YouTube demographic is female. The rest of y'all dudes. Shout out to Pegless. Is it calf day today? Not today, Pegless. But I am going to be making a New Year's resolution to, I'm going to be making a New Year's resolution to start training calves. That's absolutely for sure. Shout out to My Crypto Goods from Lebanon. Shout out to Parth. What is going on, yo? Shout out to Moonshine. Shout out to Astrodao. Exclusive Ventures LLC says, yo. And Tommy Two Guns with the cup of coffee. Shout out to Aryan. He says 2. J-Boy Bullish is a 1.5. Shout out to Mexican Hasselhoff, the most female person in the chat right now. Shout out to Jackin R. Crack. He says, show some love, hit the like. Guys, as usual, if we can get 1,000 likes in the first 30 minutes of streaming, we will be giving away 1,000 USDT. B-Beck identifies as a lady. Interesting, my friend. Shout out to the Casper crew. Shout out to Levi Jones. Bitcoin bull flag forming right now. The Golden Jet. Well, he identifies as Caroline. That's crazy, man. You identify as Caroline? I identify actually as a fat, white, ambiguously gendered college student majoring in trans, non-carbon, binary emission studies. This is a picture of me back in college. Actually, I'm just kidding, guys. This is a picture of me back in college when I was majoring in trans, non-carbon, binary emission studies. Let's get back to the charts, though. That was my experimental phase. Shout out to Infinite Wisdom. Shout out to Aqua Babies North Cyprus, who likes the dang stream. Shout out to Dread Mining. Yo, Dread Mining, what is going on, bro? Glad to see you here. God bless you, man. Shout out to Terry Trees. He's laughing his rear patootie off. Shout out to Gamer Anonymous. He identifies as a billionaire. That's cool, man. What's going on, Koluk? What's going on, Cyan? He says, you're the best, Jason, for showing your trades unlike other streamers. Well, you know, there's a lot of pros and cons to showing the trades, my friend. You know, I might stop in the future for a number of reasons for some of the cons, but we'll have to see how that goes. I'm going to open up my see-through bottle of San Pellegrino. Get this stream started, y'all. There's nothing like imported water that may or may not be purified toilet water. Who knows? I don't know. But they sure do know how to market it to me. I'll tell you. Alrighty. Mexican Hasselhoff. Grant Stork. Shout out to Crypto Street Turd. He says, woof, Bitcoin. Where's Papa Casper at? Man, he's at the dentist right now. Shout out to Della Speezy. Shout out to Juan Take. Shout out to Calcifer Nub. He says, what's your target for the Bitcoin long? A new high, baby. my target for this Bitcoin long is a new high. All right, we're gonna talk about the long. We're gonna talk about the short. All right, I've got targets for the short way down to $31,500. We're gonna talk about why I have targets for the short. We're gonna be talking about the targets for the long. All right, now again, I'm in 2 Bitcoin longs here. I am also in another Bitcoin long over here on a different account. So yes, I'm short, guys, but I'm also long. And I'm still holding the short from yesterday, which I might compound on this stream, depending on what happens here. All right, guys? So I've been taking these trades. All right? And this is what we got going on right now. All right? So once again, shout out to Dan. Dan, how do you pronounce that last name, Dan? Fuchs. Dan Fuchs. Let's talk about the girth. The girth of what? The Bitcoin price? We will be getting into the girth of the Bitcoin price and the altcoin prices. Is it going to pump? Well, if we're going to pump, this is a place that we should be looking. All right, we're going to be diving into the unadulterated charts. All right, shout out to Daily Dose of Compilations. Shout out to Gazgano and Brainflow Videos and Bubbles the Evil. He's in a long, please give us the pump song. You know what? Maybe today is that day for the pump song, guys. So let's discuss. Let's discuss what is happening with Bitcoin. All right, we're gonna start over here on, this is the Bybit chart, okay? There's a few things that I wanna point out here, all right? First of all, 21 EMA is holding on the daily chart. That's actually quite a bullish sign. Why? Because the 21 EMA has basically been, ever since we broke out of the 21 EMA. Here, let me close this off. Let me close these things off. All right, the 21 EMA, one of my favorite EMAs to use. Typically, I'm only using the 21 and the 55 EMA. Let me make it a little bit thicker for us here. The blue EMA is the 21 EMA. The purple EMA is the 55 EMA. These are the 2 Fibonacci numbers. These are my 2 favorite EMAs to be using. Ever since we broke out of the 21 EMA, we have been holding it as support once, twice, and now we're coming back down to test it. We bounced from it, closed the daily candle, and then just now we've come down just to front run it with this second daily candle. All right, 4-hour time frame. You can see not looking as bullish here. Why? Well, because we have the EMAs. The 21 is about to cross underneath the 55 EMA. So here's how I'm looking at this right now. I don't want to see the 21 EMA on the 4-hour cross below the 55 EMA. I really don't want to see that. What I would like to see is the price action come up above again, and we see that these EMAs almost touch, or maybe even touch a little bit, and then do something like this, right? That's kind of what we want to see here, all right? Now, if any of you follow my TA, if any of you are OGs to my channel, you know that I'm a big fan of these 2 EMAs back in the day. Haven't been using them as much recently, but you know what? I'm going to start again. So this is the first thing that I'm noticing is these EMAs. Now, the second thing here that we have to keep in mind is the fact that if we turn on Market Cipher, there is a real chance right now that we are forming a hidden bullish divergence on the chart, right? We've got to confirm, we actually do have a confirmed hidden bullish divergence as the price is making a higher low in what really does seem to be somewhat of an uptrend. In fact, we could connect these lows together roughly and see this trend line actually does seem to be being respected for 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 5th tap. And as we're making that 5th tap, well, we're seeing the momentum wave getting deeper than the previous momentum wave, forming a nice big bottom. All right, so that is something to keep in mind here. Now, I do think we're at a critical place as far as the Bitcoin price goes. And the reason for that is because right now, again, you don't have to be an expert technical analyst just to see that we have the most basic support resistance flip in the world right here, right? Right here. And so really I would want to see this come down a little bit lower to get a bounce. But Bitcoin has not been meeting expectations when it comes to dumpage. So right now, when we analyze this little chunk of price action, what are we seeing? Let's take a look. Let's go to the Coinbase chart. Right, the Coinbase chart, let's clear everything off, has come down to make a low. Right, we've come down to make a low, and not only did we come down to make a low, but I'm pretty sure if we pull a fib, yeah, look at that. So if we pull a fib from the most recent swing low before the big breakout, we are getting a bounce from the Fibonacci golden pocket with a hidden bullish divergence on the 4 hour. All right. Now, when we come down to the 1 hour time frame, we can see something else quite interesting here, which is the fact that we did print what is known as a chicken's drinking water pattern. What is a chicken's drinking water pattern? Well, when you make a low or a high, but in this case a low, and you establish that low, and then you come and you take that low, and then get a very quick buyback and a candle close above the water, above the level, that is a chicken's drinking water pattern, especially when it happens with a bullish divergence on market cipher B, or it's also known as the uneven butt cheek pattern on market cipher B, where you have a very juicy left butt cheek followed by a very skinny right butt cheek. So, you know, if we just kind of put the cheeks here on the chart, you can see absolutely the resemblance here. The gluteus maximus and the gluteus minimus together is actually what the gluteus maximus and the gluteus minimus working together is really what allows the glutes to function properly. All right, you can't just have the gluteus maximus only. You also need the gluteus minimus and the gluteus medius, which is in between the two butt cheeks. And if we take out our ruler and just measure between cheeks, we have about 16 hours of butt crack in the medius. Now, this is actually a pattern that can lead to a significant move, because look at this. All right, when we go back to the high, the short trade that we took here on Bitcoin, the setup that we gave in advance in the Casper Crew React Discord, we were looking for this exact thing to happen for follow through to the downside. Now, we wanted to take a short if we got the uneven butt cheek pattern on the 1 hour, the 12 minute, the 6 minute, and the 3 minute, which we did. We wanted to take profit one early at the golden pocket. At the golden pocket, this is very key, at the golden pocket, and then hold in case of dump. Well, we did get the dump. As you can see, the short trade is still open. I've currently got still $10,000 of unrealized profits on the table, guys. All right, and I've realized about $10,000 as well. $3,000 in this trade, and another $7,000 in this trade right here. Okay, but we are seeing the opposite right now happen on Bitcoin on the 1 hour time frame, right? We've got the uneven butt cheek pattern and the chicken's drinking water pattern. It's called chicken's drinking water because if you've ever seen a chicken drink water, she dips her beak into the water and then real quick laps it up. Nom, 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 nom. Right? In fact, one of my favorite videos to watch is this one right here of a chicken drinking water. Now, you might think this is my favorite video to watch right here. Okay, you might think that, but no, it's actually not. It's actually this, right? Chickens drinking water. See, it's saved because Google knows everything about me and everything about you too. All right, Google loves you, maybe. Now look at how a chicken drinks water. She's gonna take her beak, she's gonna shove it into the water, bam! All right, that's the price coming down to take the low, bam! Beak in the water, and then watch what the chicken does here. Boom, nom, 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 nom. It's exactly what price did. Now, let's take a look at this, right? When we came down, we got the chickens drinking water. We came up into the area between the Fibonacci 786 and the golden pocket. Now we're doing something quite interesting. We are making what appears to be, and what very well could be now, a higher low into the local Fibonacci golden pocket 786 zone with money flow getting higher on the 1 hour and a trigger wave printing on market cipher B. This could actually lead to more of a push to the upside. In fact, on Coinbase, I would say that this looks kind of nice. This bottom looks kind of nice. The only thing I really don't like about this here is the fact that we never took this high, right? For a bottom to look very nice, you would want basically this high to come, take that first high, and then come down for the higher low. That is a sign of strength right there. We didn't get the sign of strength, okay? So that would give me a little bit of caution for this bottom to actually be the bottom. But nonetheless, there's a lot of things here right now that are spelling a recipe for a move to at least $42,900, at least $42,900. If I had taken this long trade from this golden pocket, which I did not take it from the golden pocket, but let's say I did, my setup would have looked like this. All right, this would have been a really nice TP1 to hit. And then of course, here's the thing. If we reclaim $42,900, that, in my opinion, will probably mean we come up to our next major target, which for me is around $47,000. So this could very well be a move to the upside. However, I would like to say this. I am still leaning a little bit more bearish than bullish here. Although as I see things develop, as I see different types of anatomy show themselves on the chart, as various winged animals start to drink different beverages, I'm getting a little bit more bullish than I was yesterday, but, here's the thing. When we broke out over that weekend, right around here, right? Let's just take a look at, let's zoom out on the chart. Right, I would still be cautious. I would still be a little bit, whoa! Hang on, let's change this a little bit here. There we go, much better. When we broke out that one weekend, about 2 weeks ago, we broke out of this very high volume node on Bitcoin, right? We never came back to retest. I think this is so important because not only did we not come back to retest, but look at this, right? Key level, 38.8. And again, we can just draw kind of a zone here because this is the main support resistance flip. This box here, not only did we not come back to retest, but we left behind literally no support. No support at all. In other words, the market has not yet proven that what used to be the ceiling and a very key high volume node going all the way back literally to 2021 January, we have not shown that what used to be the ceiling is now the floor. And so I would actually prefer a little bit of a move to the downside to show that what used to be the ceiling is now the floor. And this is where I'm actually looking for my next major swing long trade. Swing long trade from around this zone, right? And we could take it, it's a zone, right? It's a zone in general. And my target would be around the $49,000 to $50,000 level. This would be my next major swing trading idea. Why? Because we are trading the volume profile of the bull market, right? Of these old bull market. These, I said these instead of these, instead of this. We're trading the old value area of these old bull market, where we're looking for a long from support to take profit at resistance. That would be very, very nice. Are we guaranteed to get this? Of course we're not. But I would say this, we could see some more downside here. Do not be surprised if we see more downside, because there is still a lot of over-leveraged longs in this market from the last few weeks of insanely bullish price action that has very much so favored the longs. Now, here's something else, another word of caution that we do need to be aware of. If we go ahead and just kind of draw this curve here, right? Let's draw the curve right around here like this, right? You could say that this move became very, very parabolic, very quick, and now we've kind of lost that pattern, right? We've clearly seen a change here from the past few days of going straight up. Okay, we've definitely seen a change here, and if we go down to the lower time frames, we can also see that we have taken out a pretty key low, right? This is the first time we've seen a higher low taken out here since October 23rd. right? This is the first time we've actually seen price make a significantly lower low, where we had a range that we formed here, and then we had a range that we formed here, and then we lose that previous range low. Now, what makes this a little ambiguous, and I know people hate ambiguity in these markets, but it's the fact that on the daily time frame, we did not close the candle below that level. Okay, so what I'm really looking at today is where's the daily candle close? If this daily candle closes bullish, that's actually going to be very bullish for Bitcoin. Why? Because the daily candle has never closed below that last low. And of course, if a daily candle doesn't close, that just means we've just wicked down and got a very, very quick buyback. So I'm very interested in this daily candle. If this second daily candle closes purple today, I would definitely expect more downside for the rest of the week. Potentially we have a whole bearish week where we come back down to some of these areas of support, right? Now, we don't see any bearish divergences on the daily time frame here, at least not on market cipher B. We definitely don't see any bearish divergences on the weekly, but we definitely are seeing the weekly start to print what looks like a red dot. All right, looks like we could print a red dot on the weekly next week, right? Even if we don't get a big move to the downside, looks like the weekly market cipher could print a red dot next week. So what does that mean? Well, just look at what has happened in the past with red dots on the weekly time frame, right? We've only had 1, 2, 3 so far in a year. We've had 3 in a year. The first one, that gave us about a 20% pullback, right? 21%. The second one gave us a pullback of about, let's see here, from the high to the low, about 20%. The third one gave us a pullback from the high to the low, about 21%. All right, so if we get another one here and we get a pullback, let's say we get a 20% pullback from where we're at right now. Well, what do you know? A 20% pullback will take us right back to this area right here. This major support resistance flip right around the value area low of the range, okay? So if the pattern repeats of the weekly dot giving us a 20% pullback, notice how beautiful and bullish, for those people who hate bearish analysis, notice how bullish and beautiful it is to simply just have a correction to fix all this, all the liquidity here from all the over leveraged longs that have been just no problem, like yours truly, taking a dang 60x leverage long and adding to it along the way up and and making money. Okay? That's not normal. It's not natural in a market for you to be able to do that. So there needs to be a correction to fix that imbalance, right, of longs in the market. So we clear all those guys out and we come back down to a massive level. The 3-year support resistance flip at around 31.5-ish zone. And we retest that literally what was the exact ceiling, 3 taps in the bear market, is now the floor, just like it was during the bull market. That to me would be an extremely juicy, beautiful opportunity, because clearly the weekly money flow is very bullish. Clearly the momentum on the weekly is very bullish. This could be the opportunity, and I've been saying this for a while, this could really be an opportunity to make a 58% gain on Bitcoin before the halving. I mean, this is an opportunity where we need to be aware of it. Because if we're not aware of the opportunity, we might miss it. Right? If you're sitting on the sidelines and you're waiting for spot Bitcoin buys, I mean, my 2 major levels, 38.5 and then 31.5 to buy Bitcoin on spot, because we want to buy low. Right? And objectively speaking, those are going to be the lows. So yeah, we could easily get a move down there. It's only another 20% drop or so. And it would throw a lot of people off. That's for sure. It would wreck a lot of people. The new dumb money coming in, you know, getting into Bitcoin now for the first time, even though we've been telling them to get in since under 20K. And they were selling, right? The same people who asked, should I sell here, are the same people who literally, I'm not even kidding, asking, should I buy here? It's like, I don't know. The very fact I've had people ask if they should buy here is telling me definitely not time to buy, but who knows? Bitcoin can do anything, right? We've seen Bitcoin do the unthinkable in the past, right? We've seen this relentless move to the upside, but we also have to keep in mind this happened after the halving, right? This happened after the halving, right? What happened before the halving? Giant pullback. Yeah, it was a black swan. Giant pullback, but yeah, it was a black swan, but right, we can go back in time as well and see that even if there's no black swan, the pullbacks come, right? We can go back to the previous bear market rally. I mean, the pattern's the same. The bear market rally, massive move to the upside, final correction before the halving, massive move to the downside, then the bull market begins, right? Look at this. The bull market top, right? Then we get this bear market rally right here. We get a pretty significant move to the upside, almost 100%. Then what do we get before the halving? I mean, think of how catastrophic this seemed at the time, right, guys? We literally made a lower low, right? Think of the and this took a long time, right? So we're talking about 182 days, so half a year, almost 200 days, more than half a year of Bitcoin getting a rally of about 100%, only to literally give it all back and more before the halving, right? So, you know, I'm a big believer in patterns repeating, not always the exact same, but similar, right? But similar. So we do need to be aware. Let's check out our Bitcoin trades here. Now, okay, I'm gonna remove all this stuff. Keep in mind, right now, Bitcoin is getting a bounce from the golden pocket, from the low that we made down here to the high, right? And we are forming what appears to be, right now, actually a bull flag. This does appear to be a bull flag. So let's do some analysis on this, because yeah, this actually is quite interesting here. Let's go to our Bybit chart. Let's go to our 6-minute time frame, and let's see what we've got here. This could very well be a bull flag. Let's do some local analysis on Bitcoin right now. Bam! All right, so beautiful. We came to the value area low. We have, in fact, gotten a nice move to the upside. Consolidation. Let's check out what's happening on Market Cipher B. So on the 12-minute time frame, we are seeing momentum get higher. We did print a nice-ish bottom down here. Money flow is iffy. 6-minute time frame, money flow is not actually looking very good here. 3-minute time frame, looking actually pretty good. I'll be honest, 3-minute time frame looks pretty good. This could be considered a bull flag. So let's pull a local fib here. Let's put on our 382. All right, so if this is going to be a bull flag, we would want to basically see something like this happen. Bounce from that 382, and then get a move to the upside. Let's take a look right now at the order flow and see how that's looking. All right, this is bearish CVD, but it's actually a lot of shorts closing out, making the CVD look bearish. And we do have some longs opening up. So this to me looks pretty iffy. I'll be honest with you guys. Money flow coming down on the 6-minute. Potentially bearish CVD forming locally as we consolidate underneath the VWAP. Looks iffy to me, guys. I'm not gonna lie. It looks iffy to me. I don't know how I feel about it as a bull flag, but nonetheless, if it is going to break and it is a legit bull flag, this 382 would be the area that we would look for it to get the bounce from, because that's typically where we see the bull flags retrace to and then get the bounce. So if that happens, let's just kind of get our measured move here. Back up to the top of the range, back up to the highs from earlier today, and let's put on our VWAP. Wow, so that would bring us back, yeah, basically back up above the VWAP, back up to the highs that we've made today. So even if this bull flag does get a move to the upside, our target is going to be up around 41,850. That's the target of this potential bull flag, 41,850. Now, I'm still hoping, actually, and I know people don't like to hope for downside on Bitcoin, but I really am hoping we make another low into our box, because it's just a much nicer level to look for a long. Look at where we stopped here. I mean, guys, it kind of is in the middle of nowhere. The only place we could say that we've actually found support is this local golden pocket here. I would much prefer coming down a tad bit lower here. If we pull our golden pocket down to this low, the low that we made back here, it's just a much nicer confluence, which is why my next TP on the short is going to be around that area, right? Around that area. Actually, wait a second. My next TP should be around that area. What the heck? I guess, you know what? Wait a second. 38.6. 38.6? Yeah, 38.6. That, yep, right around that area. That's my next TP on the short. So I am kind of a little bit hoping, guys, for a move to the downside. For the short sake, right? For the short sake. Because as you can see, I am holding out on this short because this... Yeah, I'm leaving a lot of money on the table right now. Why? Because this high does look different than other highs. I have to be honest with you guys. This high looks different than other highs. The fact that we made this low, and we've taken out now two previous higher lows, it just feels different. All right, the weekly time frame looks different. We've got the bearish divergences here on the 1 hour. All right, at this high that we really had not seen before, with the money flow getting so low, right? The upside down Sam Bankman-Fried bearish man boob pattern. So that's why I'm holding out. All right, so we do have, also, I should say this as well. This is our local range here, okay? Our local range is defined by this being our high at 42.5, and I would say our low being defined at around 40,350. This is our current range to trade right here. And so basically what that means, guys, is as long as we are trading within this range, we cannot get overly bullish or bearish. Again, I think, whoa. Something weird's happening on my computer. So, yeah, as long as we are staying within this range, guys, we can be looking for trades within this range, which essentially means if we get a move up above these highs, I am actually going to be looking to compound a short. And obviously, if we break down here, I'm going to be looking for lower prices. So that's kind of how I'm viewing this right now. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. You guys are amazing. God bless you all. Even if you're not religious, even if you don't believe in God, may God still bless you. As we are trading Bitcoin live on YouTube, doing the analysis in the trenches day after day after day, bull or bear market. We are here. Shout out to 1,400 people in the chat. Oh my goodness. Guys, if we can get 1,000 likes in the next 7 minutes, I will give away 1,000 USDT. How many types of guns do I own? I'm a big proponent of having a few pistols, a few rifles, and a good old-fashioned shotgun. I think that's a well-rounded collection. And if you need more than that, well, you're probably about to die. And in that case, I don't think the guns will help you. You should probably pray and ask God to help you. Let's see. Shout out to the super chat, Dave Digital. What is going on? Crypto Billy invites you to Billy Goat Tales tonight. Crypto Billy? Who's Crypto Billy? I gotta check that out. Alright. Shout out to Brett 2 cents. I read something about post-workout. It said you're supposed to eat 3 hours after workout. I don't think that stuff matters too much. But what do I know? Oh man, shout out to Splashfire Films doing the squats. Shout out to Hilmy. Do we have a scalp opportunity? Jason Casper. Yeah, I mean, look. I mean, in my opinion, the scalp opportunity has come and gone here. In my opinion, the scalp opportunity was the bounce from the golden pocket, which has already happened, right? If I was going to be looking for a scalp on this, I would say I would be looking in this zone, which we've already gotten the bounce from, right? We've already gotten the bounce from it. So let's see, are we at the 382? Because if this is a bull flag, then we do have a scalp opportunity at the 382. But based on my indicators, I don't really like the 382 right now. Let's check out the order flow. Decrease of OI. We did see some bearish CVD forming at the top here. You know, I would say this. Technically speaking, just based on the candles, this 382 very well could give us our bounce here. But based on my indicators, it doesn't look very probable. That doesn't mean it can't happen, but that's this is personally not something I would take right now. You know, unless we get a very clear bounce back, like a very clear move, then we could say, all right, we've gotten a bounce from the level, and then we know we have a very clear stop loss. Like, that's the thing. If we're waiting for a trade at a level, we have to calculate everything, our position size and everything, based on the stop loss, and the lower we come, the less worth it this trade becomes, honestly, right? So, because it worsens the risk-reward ratio. But here's the thing. If, let's say, we do all of a sudden get a massive blue candle, we know where our idea is wrong, and that gives us a very clear stop loss for any trade we enter. Any trade you enter, you need to know where you're wrong, right? So if we wick down below a level and then we reclaim a level with a bullish engulfing candle, you know for certain your idea that we're bouncing from the level is wrong if we make another lower low, right? So let's say we start to bounce, you decide this is a trade that's worth it for you, and you actually are going to target the target of the bull flag, which is going to bring us around this area. You might say, you know what, this is absolutely worth it for me because I'm potentially going to make 8 times more money than I'm risking. And if I get stopped out, the next trade will also be a similar risk reward, so it doesn't matter, right? But every trade you enter, you have to know where you're wrong, because if you don't know where you're wrong, then you'll be that guy who goes into random YouTube live streams asking, hey, I'm long from such and such. Do you think I should close it? Or should I hold it? Do you think we're going to go back up? And then the unfortunate reality to that is nobody can really answer you with certainty. You're just basically gambling, and you're asking for someone else to give you an opinion on your gamble. You know, so that's not good. That's not good. Every trade you take, you have to have a clearly defined entry, exit. So let's say we are looking for a long here. What we need is a bullish engulfing candle. Then we can say, okay, we're bouncing from the support. We know our target. We know our stop loss. And your position size is calculated based on your stop loss, right? So let's say you want to risk 0.5% on the trade. If you have $1,000, right, in your account, you want to risk 0.5% to potentially make 3% on the trade. You put $2,000 on the trade, 0.25% stop loss. If your stop loss gets hit, you lose $5. If your take profit gets hit, you make $30. You know, you're risking 5 to make 30. That's a good trade setup, right? That's how you do it over time. It's based on your stop loss. If your stop loss is more than 0.25%, if your stop loss is 0.5%, right, and you're risking 0.5%, now you can only put $1,000 on the trade, right? So the bigger your stop loss, the less you put on the trade. It doesn't matter how awesome you think that trade is going to be. You should never be risking more than 0.5 to 1% per trade. In my opinion, some stock traders are like, you should never risk more than 10%. I don't know if those guys trade or not. I don't know. Who knows? But if you take a loss or two and you're losing 10-20% of your account, man, that's, if you lose 20% of your $1,000, now you only have 800 bucks. Even if you make back that 20% of 800 is not even going to get you back to break even, right? So focus on the slow, steady gains. Don't focus on the what if giant move. Don't be in the mindset of this trade is going to be the trade, right? You should think this trade is definitely not going to be that trade. And then if it turns out to be that trade, great. You know, if you always expect nothing, then you're always very grateful for whatever God sends your way. I've actually learned this in many different aspects of life. Don't expect anything, and then whatever does happen, you're like, wow, this is amazing. All right, did we get 1,000 likes in 7 minutes? Dang, no. We have 1,400 people in here, and we barely have any likes. All right, this is our last chance for a $1,000 giveaway, y'all. We can get 1,000 likes in the next 5 minutes. If everyone just likes the stream right now, I will give away 1,000 USDT. All right? I will share the profits with you guys. I will share the profits with you. All right, let's watch and see if Bitcoin is going to take a little dump this afternoon. Maybe Bitcoin will hit some of our take profits here. Next TP, 38,600. I think I'm going to be making another 2 grand or so down there of realized. So let's see if we don't get a good old dumperoni and queso up in here. He thought I was drinking wine from the bottle. Well, it's light wine. You can see right through the dang bottle. You know? Non-alcoholic. Speaking of non-alcoholic, guys, man. Alright, no one hate on me for this. Alright? I went out the other night with my wife. I took her out. She's pregnant. We're having our 3rd baby, right? So we went on a little baby moon. We got away for a week. A nice hotel just to get away. We got a babysitter. Figured it's the last time we'll get to spend quality time for each other for the next 1.5 years, 2 years. And we went out to dinner, and I really wanted a beer, right? I love beer. I enjoy the taste. I enjoy the carbonation. But I didn't want to drink alcohol because I hate the way alcohol makes me feel. Maybe I'm old, I don't know. Even 1 beer, 2 beers, guys. The next morning, I'm not on my game, right? So I had a non-alcoholic O'Doul's. And I'll tell you, genius. It was absolutely genius. It felt like, it tasted like I was drinking a beer. Had the same taste, the same everything, without the effect. It was amazing. I enjoyed it. So, shout out to Captain Callout, who's been sober since Thanksgiving. Shout out to Darius. The like button is broken, says somebody. Oh, well, dang. That's not cool. I guess maybe that's why. Shout out to Chris, liked and subbed. Shout out to everyone who just liked the dang video. Shout out to Ton Zera. How can you have multiple positions in one coin on MEXC? So one of the reasons I love MEXC is because you can long and short at the same time for both assets. So I could technically short Bitcoin right now on the inverse perpetual as well. All right, that's one of the great things about MEXC. In my opinion, I love MEXC for that reason. All right, let's see what else we got going on here, guys. Let's take a look at some other coins here. We got to look at ETH. We got to look at ETH. All right. ETH in a very similar boat to Bitcoin. Let's remove all this stuff. Wow. So ETH in a very similar situation to Bitcoin. We're on the 1 hour chart. Now, Bitcoin took out the previous low, right? Bitcoin took out a low. ETH has taken out a number of lows, all right? ETH has actually come back down to basically that level that we're waiting for Bitcoin to come down to, right? This was that weekend where Bitcoin and ETH both pumped. ETH has come down to that level, and now we can see ETH is forming, at least on the Bybit chart, somewhat of a kind of a lower high and a higher low kind of pattern here, right? Almost like a triangle type shape. And we see ETH do this a lot. We see ETH do this a lot more than Bitcoin does, right? So this is actually quite interesting for ETH. Let's go ahead and pull the volume, because just like Bitcoin, we had this clearly defined range before the breakout. So I would say, just like for Bitcoin, ETH has some really nice levels still just below us, right? Would you look at this? I mean, the golden pocket, just like it is for Bitcoin, the golden pocket is coming in at the value area high of that previous range. It would be pretty nice to see ETH come to some lower prices. If this is going to continue bullishly, ETH has a really nice support resistance flip coming in right here at 2098. It was resistance literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and now it's a golden pocket, and it's a value area high of the previous range. That would be the first support that we have for ETH. Of course, if we do not get a bounce from that level, the value area high of the range, then we look down toward the value area low of that range. Now, just like Bitcoin, ETH does have a massive amount of liquidity that has been built up over the past few weeks, since October 23rd. Right? Let's remove all this, get our clean chart again. Would you look at this? All this. These are just stop losses. Just stop losses waiting to get triggered for us to pretty much come back down and retest some major support resistance flips. Now, again, I'm not bearish on these coins, but we just have to understand the swiftness in which we could experience a major drop to the downside here. If Bitcoin comes back down to retest its key level of, let's say, like 39K-ish, we could expect Ethereum to come down and test its key level of 1885-ish. That major support resistance flip, flush out all these longs that have been irresponsibly long before we see, once again, higher prices. All right. Now, I would say that I am still kind of in the long term bullish on Ethereum, just like I am in the long term bullish on Bitcoin, right? And because when we zoom out on these higher time frames, we can clearly see ETH is breaking out. Let's remove some of this stuff here. ETH is breaking out and actually right now as we speak, coming back down for a retest of this ascending triangle. Now this is a relative line here. We could connect it to that low. We could connect it to these highs. If we connect it to these highs, that's a little bit of a nicer level. That's the one we were looking at locally at around 2080, give or take, just a little bit lower. Of course, if we are not going to hold it there, then we would look down toward that point of control, that 1860-ish level, where we have the value area high. But either way, this is not a bearish chart. It only becomes bearish, in my opinion, if we actually lose this level around 1850 and then come back down into the range, because then we could see us retest 1500, which again is not the most bearish thing in the world. It's really not. It seems bearish at the time, especially if we're hype on a massive pump in the crypto markets. But really, if that happens, we would simply just say, okay, we're still trading in the triangle, right? Because if we come back down to 1500, we're coming back down to the trend line, we're coming back down to the value area low of the range, and we would just say, oh, well, this wasn't a real breakout, right? So on these high-term time frames, this to me is still bullish. I do believe there's still time and room for Bitcoin and ETH before the halving to hit their targets at their golden pocket value area highs. For ETH, we're talking about a $3,000 and so Ethereum. for Bitcoin, we're talking about a $49,000, $50,000 Bitcoin. I think these are realistic targets. I think there's the opportunity right now for either a smaller pullback or a more severe pullback, and then Pump City, baby. That's kind of my overall bias for Bitcoin ETH. Either a small pullback or a much larger pullback, but then that's an opportunity to kind of buy a dip before we hit some of these higher targets here. Alright, so some people are irresponsibly long. What are my long close targets? Nicholas, my next major long close targets are going to be 47K, 50K. I don't really have any limit orders set just yet on the longs. As you can see, I have no TPs on the long right now. Major reason is because I kind of want to see what happens here on the short. If this long gets stopped out at the entry here, well, a little below the entry, then you know, whatever. But if we start to really reclaim this, then I will be looking higher. 47,000. Really, my next major TP on my Bitcoin trade is going to be the high volume node on Bybit. So if we just look at all the volume that's traded here on Bybit, right, we have this high volume node right up here on Bybit. This is not like Coinbase, but it's coming in at around $47,200. And then, of course, my TP after that is probably going to be, this is a long shot, but around that 56K is the value area high on Bybit. This is really my next TP zone for the longs. I will be shaving off profits in this box here, right? Shaving off profits in this box. But right now, I don't really have any TP set. Actually, I do have a TP set on this long here. At the yearly level. We do have a yearly level coming in at 46,187, around there. That is the yearly level from the 2021 close and the 2022 open. So I will hit another take profit up there for this long here. Hopefully banking another, I think like close to $5,000. Let's see. No, maybe like three. Maybe like another 3 or 4K up there. So let's see how that kind of plays out. And ZoomX, I have no trades open. I'm not even logged in, but I am wearing one of their hats. And shout out to ZoomX, man, because they really hooked it up with the merch, man. They sent me a Christmas present, and they sent me like 4 hoodies, 2 hats, 2 coffee mugs, and they sent me one of these. Actually, they sent me packs of these things. You guys know what this thing is? I couldn't really tell what it was, but I figured out. Actually, I think it's an anti-FOMO goggles. You can put these over your eyes when you're trading, and it actually prevents FOMO. If price is pumping and you're feeling like you want to just long the top, put these on. It actually prevents FOMO. It's pretty cool. They send me packs and packs of them. So the problem is, though, they don't work so good. So you got to stretch it out a little bit like this, so you can't see under. Right now I can't see anything, so that's great. Shout out to ZoomX. Now the thing I like about ZoomX is the levels are respected equally as well as on Bybit. So you can set those juicy limit orders that get filled to the dang dollar. So that's pretty dang nice. Alright, I want to take a look at the stock market, because I also think that's... How do we get the short entry? How did I get the perfect short entry? Simple. We were planning for it. We're planning for the short entry. Set up given in advance in the Casper Crew VIP Discord, baby. Right? Planned trades are the best trades. It was really just the most obvious short to take, because whenever you form a range, right? It's like look at just the chart here. When you see this, and when you see this deep momentum wave right here on market cipher B, you could imagine that if the price comes to take the high, you would see an extremely bearish divergence on the 1 hour. Look at the money flow, very low. If we get a move to the upside, you would just extrapolate in the future, say, there's no way money flow is going to be back to where it was. And it's very unlikely the momentum wave is going to be higher than this one. So you plan it out. And then if it goes that way, then you just trade what you planned, right? So that's literally exactly what happened, right? We had the high that we were planning for price to come above, and we were planning for market cipher B. You know, if we go back in time here, we were planning for market cipher B to start to look like this with a lower momentum wave, and the money flow also being lower, right? This is a beautiful short setup. So when it happened that way, guess what? Just take the short. And here's the thing. Did I know we were going to dump down so low? Of course not. That's why the trade says take profit one early and then let the rest ride in case of dump. Because here's the thing, right? I have been shorting Bitcoin up the wazoo this entire time. You guys always see me in short trades, even in a pump. These are all the short trades I've taken during the pump. Most of them, as you can see, small wins. 150 bucks, 300 bucks, 900 bucks, 200 bucks, right? Why? Because TP1, stop loss to entry. If it gets stopped out, on to the next trade. I made a little money, didn't lose money. Sometimes I lose a little money, right? Sometimes you take a loser, right? I mean, sometimes you take a little loser here and there. But if you keep the wins and the losses small, then, you know, once those big wins happen, then they're really nice. So you got to plan for those trades, man. You got to plan. You got to stay one step ahead of the markets. You got to think to yourself, what trade would I like to take? If you can approach a blank chart and say, what trade would I want to take? Instead of what trade should I take now? A lot of people come to the charts. I've been in trading groups. They're like, I don't know, long or short. What are you guys feeling? No, you need to look at a chart and say, if I could control price, what trade would I want to take? And then you just plan for that scenario. So when it happens, you're ready to short the dang top. You know? And have a plan also, not only to short the top, but have a plan to take profit early so that you can rack up a whole bunch of small wins. And then that one time you actually catch the top, you are guaranteeing a small win, but it could turn into a much larger win. You know, this mindset, this mentality, for me, has been a game changer. It's allowed me to make a lot more money on the trades because I have very, very clear and precise invalidations, right? There's no question, when you take a trade like this Bitcoin short, there's no question where your stop loss needs to go, right? When I shorted this and I saw my confirmations, even before we lost the level, in my mind, there's no doubt this is it. If price comes above here, I'm out for a loss. It is what it is. If price comes above here, I'm out for a loss. Do you know what that means? It means I only need a 0.25% of a stop loss. That means if I'm risking 1% of my account, if I have $1,000, I could put, let's say, $3,500 on the trade and risk 1%, including fees. And now I'm making profits on 3.5 times more money than I actually have, while still abiding by good risk management, where if my trade is a loss, I've only lost 1% of my account. But if the trade is not a loss, now I'm making money on 3.5 times more money than I actually have. I mean, this is a very powerful thing, as opposed to like saying, well, here we are in the middle of nowhere. Are we going to pump from here or dump from here? Let me enter a long right now because I think we're going to pump. Stop loss has to go under here. You know, target has to be, you know, a conservative target back at this, let's say these highs. You know, this is, you're risking 1% to make 2%, right? That's, now imagine if you had a more precise entry where you only need a 0.25% stop loss, right? Well, now you're talking like, you're risking 1% to make potentially 20%. Now, this is an extreme example, but you guys get what I'm saying, right? Put a 1 in the chat if you get what I'm saying. If you understand, put a 1 in the chat. When is Daniel? Daniel from Chart Champions. We have plans to do a collab this month, guys. So, shout out to Daniel from Chart Champions. The OG, probably the most influential trader in the game. One of them, for sure, and one of the best. So, I had him on my channel. I think at the end of October, maybe November. If you haven't checked that out, check it out. It was great. We didn't talk about the charts at all. We just talked about life. It was a great conversation. I really like Daniel a lot. Shout out to Daniel from Chart Champions. What a great guy. Alright, people know what I'm talking about. Win Dono Crypto. Yo, Dono Crypto, man. Hit me up on Twitter, bro. Just hit me up on Twitter right now. Oh, wait, you can't hit me up on Twitter. Crap. Did you ever get your account back? Are you in Discord? Hit me up on Discord or something, man. Hit me up on Discord or something. What time frame did I take a short entry? I'll be honest with you. I took the short entry probably on like the 12-minute. I didn't... I wasn't really watching the chart too much for this, guys. I mean, it happened... It happened Friday afternoon. I wasn't really at the computer. It was just... I just looked at whatever time frame was open on my phone, and I saw bearish divergences and price coming down. So I just shorted because I'm like, this is it. I mean, it's either now or not. So it's either now or not, you know. But typically, I'm taking these trades on low time frames, right? Shout out to Luis Rivera. All right. Okay, you didn't lose your account. That's awesome. Yes, I'm interested in collabing with Tino from Traders Reality. Look, we actually had a collab. We recorded a whole podcast together last year, but it never got published for various reasons. And look, we've been literally talking. We've been trying to collab since 2021, I think. Maybe February 2022. Right, it's gonna happen. I love Tino. He's such a great guy in general, and a great trader. A great guy, a great trader. So much knowledge and wisdom when it comes to the charts. So hopefully we can get that collab going soon. That would be awesome. How do you add to an existing position? You just add more. Like, you know, if I want to add to this long trade, I would mark it in and put in however much I want to add. You know, and that would add to the trade. You know, I could right now put a 1.5 million on the trade. Put a 1 in the chat. No, I'm joking. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. I've done some crazy stuff on here before, but I am not gonna do that. Alright, okay. Shout out to Tino. J-Boy Bullish has his logo on the finger tattooed. Are we headed to the CME gap? I would love to head to the CME gap. Yeah, Bitcoin Hyper collab. I would love to do another Bitcoin Hyper collab. Donald Crypto, hit me up in Discord then, man. Shout out to Rendell. Geo, shout out to Geo, shout out to Tino. There's so many good traders out there. Shout out to Sam Price. Shout out to Luke from Toros Crypto. Shout out to Frankie Candles. There's a lot of good TA guys out there that I watch, you know, that I respect, that I learn from, that I get inspired from. So how short are we going? The Pokey Bro. The Poke Bro, look, I would love to come down to these targets that I have here. I mean, these are literally my targets for the short. If the top is in, based on all the analysis I've already given in the stream, I would like to come down at least to here. In a really amazing gift scenario for us to buy the dip, I would love to come down to here. So really my target for this short trade is this. Okay, but also keep in mind, guys, I trade differently than a lot of traders here because I'm not a entry target stop loss kind of guy. Like, I'm very fluid. It's 2023, man. People need to get fluid with their dang trades. All right, this is the short setup I originally gave and took. A scalp with the take profit at the local golden pocket because we were in an uptrend. So basically, now that we've lost the market structure here and we've come much lower than my take profit one. I mean, my take profit one, guys, was literally here, right? It was literally up here. Isn't that crazy? This could have been, I could have made like a couple $100 on the trade. Just like all the other shorts that you guys see me take for the past few weeks. These tiny wins. Could have been a small win. Then we lost the market structure. Well, now that we've lost it, I say, oh, we could come lower. So my next target's down here. If we hit this one, I'll say, you know what? If we don't bounce from here, we could come lower. I don't know. That's why I lock in a profit, like I have. Right? These shorts, I've guaranteed right now to make 10 grand. This 10 grand right here could be gone tomorrow, and I will never see this again, and it's unrealized. This is not in my account. This is could be money, right? The only actual money I have here is this right here, $3,000, and then another 7K from the short that I took on the other account. All right, I'm right now leaving $12,000 potentially on the table that will get stopped out at the entry. For me, that's a-okay. For some people, that's not okay. For me, that's a-okay because I'm always counter trading myself. I'm looking for the setups. I take the setups as they come, and I lock in a small profit, and then I let the rest ride. Whatever happens, then happens. And then it's great because I'm not FOMOing, right? Let's say I wake up tomorrow and Bitcoin's at 47K. My short stopped out. If I traded normally and my target was down here and my stop loss was up here, I would have lost money. I would have lost money. And I would have been missed out on the long trade. What a horrible feeling. But the way I trade, I wake up tomorrow at 47K, I've made money on the short, and now I've made money on the long, right? Because I'm still in the long side. I've been holding compounding from lower. So I don't know what the heck is going to happen with Bitcoin. I can just tell you the key levels. And if price comes to those key levels, I will be taking profit and looking for long trades. But price might not come to those levels, right? That's why we should only focus on the things that we can control in the market. We can't control what price does, but we can control when we decide to take a trade, when we decide to take profit, when we decide to say, you know what, I know I could make a lot more on this trade if things go the way I want, but it's probably not. So let me just take what I can get right now. And if it goes my way, great. And if not, then oh well. You know, that's the right mindset, in my opinion. But what do I know, guys? I'm just a guy in a tank top on a treadmill, all right? Clearly a ZoomX shill because I have their anti-FOMO goggles that keep me from FOMOing. And I've got their hat. Shout out to ZoomX, baby. But actually, if you're looking for a real good exchange to trade on MEXC. No offense, ZoomX. I appreciate all the stuff. But MEXC does have better fees. All right? Let's take a look at some other assets here. I want to take a look at the ES. Still pumping, guys. Now, y'all know if you follow my channel, I'm still long. Let's see, actually. I can't log into ZoomX. BingX. I can't log into BingX because I don't have the right settings right now. But I am in a long trade on the S&P 500 from right down here. Set up, given in advance in the Casper crew. And I have my target above the 2022 January high, right? Now, I'd say that as so long as this thing is pumping, don't be surprised if we see Bitcoin find support very close to where we're at and continue to pump, because oftentimes we see these things move together, this is pretty dang bullish in my opinion, guys. I mean, we could look at this in a number of ways. You could say, this is a little sloppy, right? But you could say that this was a bull flag, in which case our target is pretty dang close to that all-time high. And if we're going to be coming this high, I'd say we're going to go for that high. And I think that could give us a really nice potential short trade on the S&P. I'm looking at the ES Mini Futures chart because that's the chart I like to trade. But we turn on Market Cipher, and would you look at this, okay? Actually, let's even go to the weekly. Okay, look at this, the weekly right now. We could totally see, just like what we saw for Bitcoin, where we were looking for this short setup in the Casper crew, where we take the high with the bearish divs. We're literally seeing that happen right now on the weekly time frame, right? So if we pump up real quick, which we very well may, it's very unlikely we're going to see the momentum wave get higher than this one, and there's no way we're going to see the money flow get higher than what it was back here in January 2022. So we are going to be forming some pretty gnarly bearish divergences here in the momentum waves and the money flow. And so if we take that level and then come back in it, this could now make for like a really nice short trade. And really, I mean, we simply are trading sideways here. We got a clearly defined range high. We got a clearly defined range low right around here. And so yeah, we could totally just take it back down to the bottom and then maybe take it back up to the top. Who knows? I don't know, because honestly, historically, the S&P 500 has not worked that way, right? Historically, this thing has not really traded ranges. We could say maybe back here between like 2015 and like 2016, kind of trading in a little bit of a range. 2010 to 2011, a little bit of a range. So maybe we got like another move down, and then we put in another all-time high until this whole fiat system comes to a halt, either from an hyperinflation or simply just a total collapse where there's no more money. Who knows? Who knows? If they bring in the CBDCs, they might be able to save this whole sinking ship. I don't know how it's going to play out. I only know what the chart says. But for me, this move up above could make for a really nice potential short, just like just kind of like the Bitcoin short that we took, but on a more low time frame. Hang on, we got to get some music up in here. Gotta get some music up in here. There we go. Yes, let's check this out on the 1 hour. Man, look at this gap. This gap is really like juicy. I mean, it reminds me of the gap that we made back here. Right? Right here. Where we basically got another big push to the upside. It's very similar, right? We formed like this little flag pattern, then we gapped to the upside. We're pretty much doing the same thing right now. So I can't say that I'm bearish right now on this chart. I'm bullish on the chart. The thing that's kind of making me a little bit weird is the dollar right now. Because, yeah, we've got the dollar consolidating here. I would say that the dollar is ranging right here. This is our range for the dollar. We got our clear high, our clear low. We came down and we took the low, which gave us a move up to take the high. And now we're bouncing from the Fibonacci golden pocket retest. All right. Literally to the dang dollar, we're bouncing from the 618. Let's go ahead and turn some of this other stuff off here. So here's kind of what I would like to see for the dollar. And I don't know if we're going to get it, but for a bullish case for the S&P and for Bitcoin, we would want to see the dollar come down and make another lower low. That could give us the push on Bitcoin up to some of those higher prices after getting some consolidation. This little bounce on the dollar from the golden pocket has allowed Bitcoin to get a little retracement, as we've seen. So if this results in something like this, where we come back up to this support resistance flip, then we come back down toward the low of the range again, this could actually give us what we're looking for on Bitcoin, where we come back down to retest some of those key support resistance flips, and then make that final higher high on Bitcoin up to our next area of key resistance. And honestly, that's where I expect my pre-halving pullback from around that 49 to 50K zone right there. So I'm kind of keeping my eye on the dollar. Most of the time, you'll notice when an asset bounces right from the 618 like this, it typically means we're going to come revisit that level and do something like this, right? I don't really like the look of this. I don't really like the look of that. I think it needs to come back down to make another bit of a lower low. Shout out to Joel French. Shout out to Jacob Crypto Burry. Shout out to J Money. All right, we got super chats up in here. Shout out to Rod. Have a look at gas. Is that a crypto? Shout out to call sign RX. Is there a trade setup you would put 1.5 million on? Not right now, my man. No, that's too much risk for me. That's way too much risk for me right now with the account size I'm trading. Thanks so much for the super chat, by the way. But yeah, the amount that I trade, that's too much risk for me, even if with the tiniest stop loss. All right. All right, let's take a look at gas, guys. Before I take a look at gas, I have to take a pee, all right? Because look, I walk more than any other crypto YouTuber, which means I sweat more, which means I drink more, which means I pee more. All right, so while I'm doing that, you guys watch the charts, watch the trades, all right? And then we'll be taking a look at gas, all right? Be right back, y'all. All right, y'all, we're back in action. Are some of you guys still here? You guys still here? I can't believe it. Let's quickly look at Bitcoin. How's she doing? So, all right, she got that. Did she bounce from that 382? That little bull flag? Let's check it out. Yeah, she did. Would you look at that? Well, she dipped under. But, all right, cool. I wouldn't long. All right, I wouldn't long that right there. But that's, if you have a plan to do it, please don't let me hinder you because we have different trading plans. All right, let's take a look at gas. Ooh, I have to be honest. Oh man, nah. So look, if gas reclaims this level, $7.30, that could be nice. We got some bullish divs on the 4 hour. Money flow, 1 hour, right? On the 1 hour. But technically we have bullish div and then hidden div. So if we reclaim 730, that could be nice. In addition, if we come down to the golden pocket with a bullish divergence, that could also be pretty dang nice. So this would be a bit riskier because we have not changed market structure, but the only other opportunity I would see here is something like this. Bullish divergence into the golden pocket. Stop loss would have to go under the low, so it's not the best risk reward. But look, if we're taking that trade, because we've already kind of gotten basically a kind of like a chicken's drinking water here, where we did come back up above the level and now we're getting a retest. That's the only thing that would get me into this long. Understanding the risk, the setup would look like this, and the target would have to be at these highs for our first TP1. But really, let's see here. We could say that we could shoot for these highs here, honestly, because this could also be looked at as somewhat of a rising wedge. And again, this is a highly speculative kind of play here. But if we are going to look for an entry, if we're assuming that the low is in, this would be the play I would look to take. Honestly, personally, I would probably even do it with a tighter stop like this. This could be nice, especially if we get the bullish divergences on that 1 hour, or even on the 4 hour, if possible. It looks like it is possible, even on the 4 hour. And if we don't get that, then I would want to wait for a reclaim of the 730, but then it might be difficult to get an entry, because reclaim of 730, we'd need to wait now for something like this, hopefully. I'd say right now, if we're assuming the bottom's in, I would be looking down at the trend line, combination with the golden pocket 786, with some bullish divs. And this would be the play to the top of the wedge that is on log scale on the 4 hour. I don't know anything about this coin. I don't know anything about gas. Like, I don't know. But yeah, that's potentially looking pretty nice, considering if we're really about to head into a crypto bull market and Bitcoin does not take a massive dump, but it simply just hits key supports and then ranges for a while leading up into the halving, then we could definitely see some of these altcoins pump. I'm not an altcoinologist. All right, I'm no altcoinologist. If you want an altcoinologist, go subscribe to Crypto Lifer. Go subscribe to Sam Price, Crypto Lifer. He's definitely an altcoinologist. All right, but this is kind of a play that I would see here. All right, shout out to Dono Crypto. He says, look at ORCA, Orca. Let's take a look. Interesting, man. Wow. This thing has gone straight to Pump City recently. Wow. I mean, that's pretty dang bullish looking. All right, let's see if we can find anything here. Let's see. First of all, let's just get a little base. Actually, hang on. What exchanges are this on? All right, we'll do that other. Wait, hang on. Was it Orca? Yeah, it was ORCA. Alright, we'll do it on Gate.io. Let's take a look at the volume that's traded here. So we've broken up above VA. Let's go to the weekly time frame quickly. Just get a high time frame view of this thing. It's our first potential red weekly candle here, going all the way back from October 9th. So this is going to be now a kind of a key level to mark out. Actually, this is going to be a key level to mark out. This is going to be a key level to mark out. This is going to be a key level to mark out as well. Let's go down to our daily. Loss of liquidity. This is going to be key here. All right, cool. All right, go back quick, take a look at the range. Let's mark out this value area high. It's going to be key. And then we'll mark out that POC. POC. All right, cool. Now let's go down to like the 1 hour and assess the situation. Let's look at the volume that's traded on this run up here. And then we will pull a fib. Man, let's pull a fib from that most recent low to the most recent high. Nice. So like local support right now, it's going to be around $4.20 because we have that nice confluence support resistance flip, value area high, golden pocket. If we start to close candles below that level, 41.2-ish, then it would not surprise me, guys, if we get a move back down to this massive area of support right around here, because this is just begging to get all these stop losses here, just begging to get taken out. Yeah, so pretty much all this is really begging to get taken out. So it really wouldn't surprise me if we see that move back down to the low of this range and then to the high volume node of the bigger range. Let's go down to like the 12-minute, see what we got going on a very local time frame here. So if I was trading this, like day trading this, I would say, man, there's a lot of wicks. There's a lot of wicks here. We haven't quite yet taken those lows, have we? Yeah, we kind of have. It's hard to say. I'm curious to see if this thing breaks up, where are we going to end up? Yeah, we're going to end up above that high. I can't say that I see any kind of local setup that makes me giddy as a schoolgirl. The only thing that makes me slightly giddy would be if we came down to take the lows here with some really nice bullish divergences. like something like this on like the 1 hour. Yeah, like, I don't know, it's not looking so great, honestly. Yeah, other than that, I'd be looking down toward those other levels. But that's just the way I trade, honestly. So yeah, like 420 is looking good, and then if we lose 420, then I would be looking for a move down back toward the POC of the massive range here. But that's a big drop. That's a pretty big drop, but you can see why it's possible. Because if we are going to come back down into the range, right? First of all, if we're going to come back down to the mini range, then we'll come back down to the top of the high range. Once we're here, there's just so much liquidity, we could see a nice easy drop down to the POC of the range. And that's a very key support resistance flip zone. If we take a look at Litecoin, yeah, we can take a look at Litecoin. Let's take a look at LTC. Ooh, nice, Litecoin. Dumping just like Bitcoin. Let's get a clean chart on Litecoin. Alright. We've got some key levels, like, around here. This could be a bear flag, honestly. This is the weekly time frame. It looks kind of bear flaggish. Maybe like a fractal of what happened here, right? Let's take a look at the volume. Interesting. Oh wow, perfect bounce from that 786. Alright, so here's honestly what I'm thinking about this thing. It's my first instinct upon looking at the chart. That 786 is also being respected. Man, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but it would be just really nice to flush all this out and come down to the low of the range and then get our bounce up to the high of the range. Maybe even come up to the golden pocket. Like, is this definitely going to happen? Of course, we can't say anything is definite, but I mean, if I could pick a trade right now, I would want this to happen. I would definitely want this to happen. We've got like a channel right here, like a rising wedge kind of pattern. Alright, so at least take out the low here. At least take out the low here, down toward value area low of the range. So we could say maybe more so something like this. At least take out that first low, like to fill the target of this wedge. But I would like to come a little bit lower to value area low. And then we would look to take it up to the value area high, like $92. I think that's not too crazy, because Litecoin is really, compared to the other altcoins, Litecoin already had its big hurrah, right? We had a really big move in October of 2022. So it's kind of interesting. Litecoin had a huge move in 2022. while all the other coins were dumping like a wild, crazy person, Litecoin was doing pretty well last year. So now the other coins are doing well. Maybe Litecoin can get a little bit of a retracement to the bottom of the range. That's kind of what I would like to see here if I was looking for a Litecoin trade. All right, how do I define my stop loss? How do you know the stop loss should be? Yeah, so for every trade that you take, you need to have a clearly defined like entry and exit. How's Bitcoin doing, by the way? She's doing nothing, guys. You need to have a clearly defined exit and entry. So it depends on the trade setup, right? If you're, let's say you're looking to short the golden pocket and the 786 zone, then if you're shorting the golden pocket, your stop loss needs to be above the 786. Right, so when you plan out your trade, this is going to be how you calculate your position size. If it's a trade where it's like a chickens drink water or something like this short, you kind of have to just estimate. You'll kind of get it, like you'll kind of know just instinctually, like this is about a 25% stop loss, so you can kind of like put in your position size. You know, oftentimes I just estimate it, and I always estimate to the downside because I'd rather be too little on a trade than too much, right? But yeah, basically you need to know where your idea becomes wrong, right? Where's your idea wrong? If you don't know where your trade idea is wrong, then you will lose everything, because how are you going to know when to get out of that trade? You know? If there's no way for you to say objectively, I was wrong, then you're just going to hold the losing trade forever until you get liquidated, right? So before you even enter the trade, you need to know, where is my idea wrong? Like, for example, let's say we're going to long Bitcoin here. And the hypothesis is, because every trade entry needs to have a hypothesis, your hypothesis is we're bouncing from the golden pocket. All right, and let's say you're trading the 1 hour time frame. All right, we're bouncing from the golden pocket. We've had a 1 hour candle close after bouncing from the golden pocket. So I'm going to go ahead and long here. And so my long is here. My stop loss needs to be below that last low. Because if we're not bouncing from the golden pocket and we're coming lower, then my idea that we're bouncing from the golden pocket becomes wrong when we lose the golden pocket. You get what I'm saying? So this is how you know where your stop loss goes. This would be a 1.5% stop. Right? That's how you got to do it. Where does your idea become wrong? Every trade we enter is based on a hypothesis, right? We're taking something for granted that may or may not be true. The thing we're taking for granted here that may or may not be true is that we made a low, we made a high, and now we're making a higher low from the golden pocket to make a higher high. We're taking that for granted, right? We're saying this is true, therefore I will long here. We don't really know if that's true, and the only way we'll know for sure that we're wrong is if the price comes below the golden pocket. Then we'll know in hindsight, oh, I was wrong. That's the thing about trading. We never know if we're right or wrong until hindsight, which is why we utilize risk management and say, I'm only going to risk 1%, so that if I am wrong here, I'm only going to lose 1% of my stack, and I'm going to shoot to make 3% on my stack, right? So this trade, you'd potentially be risking 1% of your stack to make 3%, which means you could take 2 losses in a row and lose 2%, and then on that third trade, you're in a little bit profit, right? I mean, you've made probably a little bit less than 1% in total, right? So it really, risk management is everything when it comes to trading. It's absolutely everything, because, man, if you don't have a plan of where to take profit, if you don't have a plan of where to put your stop loss, I promise that you will lose everything. If you're not calculating your position sizes roughly in advance, based on a plan, you will 100% lose everything, because it only takes one trade to undo months of proper trading. It only takes an hour of revenge trading to undo a week of proper trading. So, you know, if you don't have these things planned out in advance, don't be taking trades yet. Learn how to do it, right? If you want to learn, you could join the Casper Crew VIP Discord. Not only do we give setups and do multiple live streams every single day, but inside the Discord, we actually have a mini course that will go through all this stuff. Risk management, you know, we literally have a mini course in here for beginners, right? And you will learn a lot in this Discord group. But so in here in the beginner zone, we have support and resistance, market structure, risk management, CVD divergences, chickens drink water, back testing, just 6 little sessions to kind of get you up to snuff on trading. You know, we've got videos in here and assignments. You know, shout out to like Spartan Wrestler, because he put a lot of this stuff together. Shout out to Tina. Like the team put a lot of this stuff together. It's absolutely great stuff in here. And then there's assignments so that you can make sure that you know what you're actually doing before you actually start throwing money around. Because honestly, like, the markets will humble you very, very, very fast. Yeah, it's no joke. It really is no joke. So make sure you know what you're doing. And here's the thing. I firmly believe this with all my heart. You could be a pretty bad trader and still be profitable if you actually stick to the rules. Most traders lose money not because they're bad traders, but because they don't stick to the rules. You know, it's very easy to learn technical analysis. You could probably learn everything I know and more in a year of studying this stuff. But to actually implement it and do it and have the discipline to stick to the strategies and the risk management, that's a whole nother level, and we can all attest to. I think I've never met a trader who said, I lost money because I didn't know TA. There are some who get into this and they just start throwing money. But if you're actually a trader and you've been doing this for a while, nobody ever says, yeah, I lost everything because I don't know how to pull a Fibonacci. They lost everything because they were gambling away everything, and then they were revenge trading, and they're trying to make back their losses, and the next thing they know, they blew, like, you know, tens of thousands of dollars or worse. All right. Shout out to Alex Tyler. Disclose the music playlist. Shout out to Bamboozled. Yeah, man. Disclosed, baby. Disclosed. Alright. Shout out to Bit Burrito. Shout out to Mason. Shout out to Omar. Shout out to Revy. Shout out to Gerardo. I already did some ETH TA. I did. But guys, I do have to head out because it's been like almost 2 hours and I have to do some stuff around the house because I'm a family guy, just like Peter Griffin. So guys, God bless you all. In Jesus' name, I do pray you're all super blessed, even if you're not religious. May the Lord bless you and protect you. May he shine light upon you and have grace upon you. May the Lord turn his face towards you and give you wholeness. And I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.